Greetings, friends of the Blue Team. Kentucky assistant coach Cody Fuger visits several prospects in Milwaukee, but let's talk about one in particular. Doney Johnson. Would he be a great guy for the Cats? Subscribe to the channel before the news. The city of Milwaukee, home to basketball legends and a hotbed of undeniable talent, received a visit this week that promises to strengthen the ties between Kentucky basketball and the sport's future stars. Cody Fuger, assistant coach of Mark Pope's team, returned to his homeland with a clear mission: to strengthen the program's presence in one of the state's richest in young prospects in the United States. Between strategic conversations and memorable meetings, one name stood out on Kentucky's radar: Doney Johnson. Doney Johnson is not just another prospect in Kentucky's long tradition of aggressive recruiting. A 6 feet 4 inches point guard with an impressive physique for a player of his position, he represents that rare combination of technical ability, versatility, and competitive instinct that transforms players into leaders on and off the court. Still early in his high school basketball career, Johnson is already attracting the attention of traditional programs and is considered one of the top prospects in the 2027 class. According to the renowned website Rivals, he is ranked as the 30th best point guard in the country and among the 17 best players of his generation, a status that reflects his potential to shine on the sport's brightest stages. Kentucky's interest in Johnson is not new. Since June 15th, the first day college coaches could begin formal evaluations of the 2027 class, Cody Fuger has maintained constant contact with the young prodigy and his family. This dedication was rewarded this Tuesday when Fuger met in person with the point guard and his father, Doney Johnson, in Milwaukee. According to reports from the KSR Plus portal, the conversation went very positively, reaffirming the mutual interest between Johnson and the Lexington program. For Doney's father, the meeting made clear Kentucky's genuine intentions to invest in young athletes' development, something that will weigh heavily when it comes time to make decisions about his future. Mark Pope's arrival as Kentucky's head coach brought with it renewed energy and an even more incisive approach to the recruiting process. With Cody Fuger playing a key role in these negotiations, the program's strategy of building lasting bridges with families and communities is evident, prioritizing not only the players' talent, but also their personal values and ambitions. This distinction has been crucial in maintaining Kentucky as a leading figure in college basketball, even amid growing national competition. The state of Wisconsin, for its part, is emerging as an increasingly relevant talent pool on the American basketball map. In addition to Johnson, 3 other regional prospects are among the top 100 in the 2027 class, demonstrating the strength of the local ecosystem. The fact that Kentucky is already involved with 2 of these athletes and will likely expand that list soon reiterates the program's commitment to seeking geographic diversity and technical quality in its selections. For Kentucky fans, this is encouraging news, signaling that the legacy of excellence continues under the leadership of Pope and his staff. Doney Johnson, specifically, possesses characteristics that seem tailor-made for Kentucky's style of play. His ability to create opportunities for both himself and his teammates, combined with a reliable shot and solid defense, makes him an ideal candidate to adapt quickly to the demands of high-level college football. More than that, his calm demeanor and disciplined focus suggest he possesses the mindset necessary to thrive under the spotlight of Rupp Arena, where thousands of fans eagerly await the next big star. As Cody Fuger's visits continue to bear fruit in Milwaukee and other parts of the country, the excitement surrounding the project led by Mark Pope only grows. Building a championship roster is a meticulous process, made up of small, daily victories, and it seems Kentucky is on the right track. With names like Doney Johnson emerging on the horizon, there's every reason to believe the future holds great things for the Wildcats. It remains to be seen how these pieces fit together over the next few years. Do you think he'd be a great prospect? Despite the scant attention Quaintance has received in the national media, his arrival at Kentucky deserves to be celebrated as one of the shrewdest moves of the transfer market. Quaintance, a former Arizona State player, was one of the most impressive freshmen of last season. At 17, yes, 17, he already demonstrated a technical and athletic maturity rarely seen in such young athletes. Averaging 9.4 points, 7.9 rebounds, 2.6 blocks, and 1.5 assists per game, he established himself as a dominant force in the Pac-12 spotlight. His 6 feet 2 inches frame, combined with nearly unparalleled defensive prowess, made him an intimidating presence on the court. However, his career suffered a significant setback when, late in the season, he tore his ACL. The injury has cast doubt on his immediate prospects, but far from shattering his promise, it has only reinforced a narrative of resilience that now surrounds his arrival at Kentucky. Interestingly, while names like Jalen Lowe, Cam Williams, and Mo Diabate have been mentioned as standouts on this season's transfer lists, Quaintance remains largely marginalized in national conversations. Andy Katz, an influential voice in college basketball, recently released a list of the top 10 transfers of the season, and the Kentucky center didn't even appear among those selected. This absence is puzzling, to say the least. It's true that Quaintance is still recovering from his injury, but reducing him to a mere unknown seems to ignore the fact that we're talking about a player who, even before turning 18, was already projecting numbers worthy of one of the best defenders in the country. More than that, we're talking about an athlete whose ceiling could very well be among the top picks in the NBA draft. It's no exaggeration to say that Quaintance possesses the kind of talent that transcends college basketball conventions. His ability to change the pace of the game with pinpoint blocks, coupled with his offensive versatility, makes him an athletic anomaly when fully recovered. He has every potential to lead the NCAA in blocks and even average a consistent double-double. For a team like Kentucky, this means more than just reinforcement. It means transformation. Quaintance's impact goes beyond his individual numbers. He arrives at a program that, under Mark Pope, is seeking to reaffirm his position as a powerhouse in college basketball. Pope's second year at the helm of the Wildcats is seen as a crucial moment in solidifying his vision, and the addition of a player like Quaintance could be a necessary asset to take the team to even greater heights. Once he's back in full fitness, the Wildcats will gain a strategic dimension that few teams in the country can match, and everyone expects it. It's important to note that the debate over Quaintance shouldn't be viewed solely as a matter of individual merit, but as an opportunity to reflect on how college basketball values or undervalues certain talents. In a sport where visibility often dictates recognition, players like him risk being temporarily forgotten. However, this invisibility tends to be fleeting. When Quaintance steps onto the court wearing the Wildcats' blue and white uniform, his influence will be virtually impossible to ignore. And, who knows, perhaps even Katz will need to revise his roster before the end of the season. In the meantime, Kentucky fans can dream big. Quaintance's recovery is progressing as expected, and his return to the court is expected before the start of SEC play. When that happens, the team will have a player capable of changing the dynamic of any matchup. More than just a reinforcement, he represents a realization of an ambitious project, making the Wildcats even better. The mood in Lexington is one of introspection and anticipation. The BBN, which for so long supported Stoops as the architect of the most stable era in the program's modern history, is now experiencing a mixture of angst and impatience, feelings that athletics director Mitch Barnhart himself publicly acknowledged. In an interview with the Lexington Herald-Leader, Barnhart didn't shy away from reality. "Make no mistake, we want success," he said. "We want to overcome this. We've overcome these things before." The statement sounds less like a simple vote of confidence and more like an attempt to reaffirm what Kentucky has always strived to be under Stoops, a program that doesn't give up on its own path, even when things get tough. The relationship between Stoops and the university goes far beyond the numbers on the scoreboard. When Barnhart mentions a program he inherited, it's a quiet reminder of where it all began. The coach took over a broken team, lacking identity and prospects, and transformed it into a bowl consistency and a respected name within the SEC, something unthinkable just over a decade ago. It took years of patient construction, talent development, and a competitive standard Kentucky hadn't seen since the days of Bear Bryant. But college football changed faster than the structure Kentucky had built. The era of Anil and the transfer portal turned the tables. Barnhart openly acknowledged this. It was a struggle for us for a few years, just trying to find our way, he admitted. I think now we're having to adapt to some changes in college athletics and overcome this. The admission is important. Kentucky was slow to react when the financial and recruiting landscape was rewritten. Other universities quickly armed themselves with multi-million-dollar collectives, while the program in Lexington was still calculating its next steps. The result was a disconnect. Stoops' philosophy, based on development and continuity, had to adapt to a free agency model, a term many use to describe the current transfer market. In 2025, Kentucky dove headfirst into this new format. 50 new players on the roster, more than half from other universities. It was an inevitable experiment, but the immediate impact has yet to be seen on the field. Barnhart acknowledges the model didn't deliver results over 20 quarters. Still, the athletics director's speech carries a note of loyalty and perspective. He understands the fan base's noise, frustration, and desire for immediate relevance, but emphasizes that the process isn't over yet. Are we where we want to be? Definitely not, he said, but we'll keep fighting to see if we can. We have 7 games left and an opportunity to improve every week. These words sound like an attempt to bring calm to a turbulent environment and to protect a coach who, even under criticism, is still seen internally as the face of Kentucky's transformation. Barnhart got straight to the point. I'm grateful he's done so much for us, and I want to make sure we fight with him and give him the best possible chance to move forward. There's undoubtedly tension in the air. Stoops, recently linked to speculation surrounding a job at Virginia Tech, remains a strong name on the national stage, and that reflects the respect he's earned. But Kentucky, both institution and fan base, needs to decide what kind of program it wants to be. One that starts from scratch every time the wind blows against it, or one that endures and adapts to the people who built it. The anguish Barnhart mentioned is real and human, a reflection of BBN's passion and the constant pressure that accompanies SEC football. Yet, beneath the surface of the discontent, there's a quiet recognition. Mark Stoops remains a man who put Kentucky on a level where being held accountable is, in itself, a sign of progress. We'll see how this plays out. You can weigh in.